Okay, so let's talk about a phrase you've probably seen absolutely everywhere, the destiny helper. This whole idea has spread like wildfire, you know? It's created this sort of pandemic of hope. But it makes you wonder, and this is what we're going to dig into, who is really supposed to be helping you on your journey?
I mean, you've seen it, right? You're just scrolling through your phone, minding your own business, and bam, there it is. A post, a prayer, some kind of declaration to the universe. It's become this modern-day mantra for literally anyone who's waiting for their big break.
You see this exact phrase everywhere, from Instagram captions to church pulpits. And look, it's a powerful statement of faith, for sure. But in our rush to get located, have we ever actually stopped to ask what we're waiting for? And maybe more importantly, do we even know what a real destiny helper looks like?
And that right there brings us to the biggest misconception of all, what I like to call the fairy tale helper. We've cooked up this almost mythical idea of some perfect person who's just going to swoop in and magically change our lives.
This is pretty much what we're picturing, isn't it? We imagine this person as some kind of magician, just holding all our blessings, ready to hand them over on a silver platter. We think they've got to be rich or famous or super powerful, someone who already has the keys to the kingdom and can just let us in. But is that what real help actually looks like?
So, if that's the fairy tale, let's get real for a minute. It's time to flip the script and talk about a new definition, one that's grounded in what help really is.
Okay, check this out. This is the core difference right here. Our expectation is someone who just gives us stuff and makes life easy. But the reality? Oh, it's so much deeper than that. A true destiny helper doesn't just hand you things, they shape you, they challenge you, they even correct you when you're going off track. They are the friction that sharpens you into the person you're meant to become.
And here's the thing. These helpers show up in all kinds of disguises, and most of the time, we don't even recognize them. It might be a mentor who pushes you way past your comfort zone, or a friend who tells you the hard truth you don't want to hear. It could even be a critic whose words, yeah, they sting, but they force you to get better. Sometimes it's a total stranger who gives you one piece of advice that changes everything. And get this, sometimes a destiny helper is the person who walks away, because that's what forces you to finally learn how to stand on your own.
So, if these real helpers are all around us, often in forms we don't expect, then maybe we've been looking at this whole thing the wrong way. What's the real pandemic we should be talking about?
Here it is. The real pandemic isn't the belief in helpers, not at all. It's the culture of passively waiting for one to show up, instead of actively working on becoming one. It's a mindset of dependency when we should be focused on empowerment.
So let's just define it. The helper pandemic is this massive, widespread mindset of waiting. Just waiting. To be found, waiting to be chosen, waiting to be saved. And that way of thinking is what keeps us stuck. It stops us from taking action, and it stops us from realizing that maybe, just maybe, we are the helper someone else is waiting for.
And that leads to a really powerful question. What if we just flip this whole search inward? What if that big breakthrough you're praying for, the one you think has to come from someone else, what if it's already inside of you, just waiting for you to finally act on it?
To do that, though, it takes a fundamental shift in how we think. We have to move away from this mindset of constantly chasing people down and move into a state of attracting. It's about becoming a magnet for the right connections, not being a hunter. And it really breaks down into a simple three-step process. First, just stop. Stop the frantic chase for some external savior. Second, start focusing on your own purpose, your own work, your own growth. Because when you do that, you naturally start attracting the right energy. And finally, the most powerful step of all, become the very person you wish would show up and help you.
And you know what happens when you make that shift? When you are walking in your purpose, totally aligned with your goals. The right people don't just randomly show up. They're drawn to you because you fit. The connection feels natural, not forced. It just works.
So, as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final, crucial takeaway. After all of this talk about destiny helpers, who is the most important one of them all? Look, every season of your life is going to bring different people to help you along the way, but none of them, not one, will ever be as powerful or as constant as the strength and the action you provide for yourself. The ultimate destiny helper isn't out there somewhere waiting to find you. They're looking right back at you in the mirror. The only question left is, what are you going to do to help them?